today we're going to be talking about bicep surgery rehab. In particular, I'm talking about the surgery I had that was attaching my ruptured bicep tendon back into the bone. So the first thing we're going to talk about is pre-operation mobility. My coach, he's taught me so much. He's guided me through from not being able to deadlift and squat to squatting over 300 kilos. And I couldn't do it before because of a knee injury that's been persistent since I'm 15. So he's an awesome coach. And before I went in for the surgery, he had me doing lots of high reps with light weights in most lifts. So I was doing squats with a safety bar. I was doing bench press, narrow grip bench press. I was doing overhead press, seated overhead press. What else was I doing? Calf raises. I can't remember. The one that I didn't like was a lat pull down because that activates the bicep and it has the potential to shorten it. However, the rest of these exercises, they were keeping the joint mobile. So the tendon ruptured and the whole area got filled with blood and the bruising was pretty severe from the actual injury. And basically, it would have just seized up. And when you go to hospital straight away, they put you in a sling and they kind of like fix your arm in this position. And this is the opposite of what you want to do. You got this flexor muscle here. I think it's the brachialis or the brachiobrachialis, something like that. You got this muscle coming from your forearm up to here, and that is a strong flexor muscle. So you have full mobility of your arm, even without the bicep. You can do loads of stuff with it. I was using it quite a lot before my surgery. So keep it mobile, keep it moving, and you're keeping all the muscles sliding past each other and stopping adhesions, which you definitely don't want because the surgeon is going to have to cut through those adhesions himself to free everything up in order to keep it mobile. So that is not what you want. The second thing is you need to give it time. Once you've had the surgery, you really need to give it time. Now, my original coach who had me bench pressing and everything pre-surgery, like I was doing single leg squats and single leg pistol squats and sets of 60 push-ups in hospital next to my bed on the day of the operation and leading up to it. Yeah, you can do all this stuff, but straight after the operation, I was telling him, hey, I know that you've got this very kind of proactive approach towards rehabbing, really getting on it very fast. And I told him, look, I don't want to risk it because basically I want to give it some time before I start loading my left hand, doing any work with it at all. So basically what's happened is the tendon is broken off down here, and then it's been, to reattach it, they drill a hole through the bone and they thread lots of sutures through the end of the tendon and this button, which they've passed through the hole in the bone, and it sits on the other side of the bone. And then they put a big screw into the arm, and it kind of like pinches the tendon between the edge of the screw and the bone. And that's how it's secured. But all those stitches are actually keeping it in place as well. So if you start loading the joint too fast, too soon, the stitches have the potential to tear through the tendon and slice through the flesh, which the thought of it to me kind of goes through me. It's like cutting meat with a cheese wire. I don't like it. I don't like that. So I actually consulted with another coach in my gym who my coach actually rehabbed using these techniques for the same injury many years ago, well, a few years ago. And I was consulting with him and he's like, look, this isn't necessary to get on doing all of these movements so fast. Like basically 5 days after the surgery, my coach had me doing shoulder mobility stuff. So we're talking flies, like rear delt flies, side raises, all this type of stuff. And I didn't feel comfortable doing that. It wasn't good. He had me rotating my wrist like this because this rotation like this is one of the hardest things to do. It's nearly good for me. It's nearly on the same level, but yeah, basically he had me doing lots of stuff very soon after surgery, and it caused me a lot of pain. It didn't actually cause me any pain in the bicep tendon repair. It was all the surrounding muscles got absolutely shredded. They were working way too hard. So I actually said, I appreciate all the work you've done and all of the vast amounts of knowledge you've given me. However, I need to change coach. So I've changed coaches, and I'm with someone who's got a slightly more moderate approach to this. And basically, he's told me for the first month, you're not going to miss out that much. In a year's time, you're not going to notice it. Yeah, if you're doing all this kind of shoulder rehab and everything, you might get back to full strength a tiny bit faster. But is it worth the risk? And my answer is no. Basically, the tendon has to grow into the bone. It sends out tendrils, and it needs to kind of have collagen synthesis and everything, and it needs to become one. And there is a risk that it can slip very early on, and that the sutures can cut through it. And as it gets more and more anchored into place and grows in, then you can start loading it. So I waited until the cast came off after 10 days for me after surgery. And the surgeons actually said, okay, so this is just really tight here when the cast comes off. This tendon, this biceps tendon is so tight. And the surgeon said, yeah, you can like just stretch it like this. So I was just stretching it and and apparently that is not the best way to do it. What my coach then told me is what you need to do is use the other hand to pull it up to do the concentric movement, and then you do a curl using your bicep. But your bicep is actually switched off now. There's no neural input going to it. It is very soft, and I can flex it a bit, but yeah, it's massively switched off. I can't fire all of the motor units. So yeah, I think that's a good thing, because you don't want to rip it out in the same way that you use your own strength to just rip it out the first time. You don't want it to happen a second time when it's in this fragile state, because that's going to be a hella hard to repair. So yeah, basically what my coach said is to do curls, and by actually tensing it and then letting it kind of stretch out and then relaxing the last bit, you're creating less risk for the tendon. Actually, doing it this way and just like stretching it, stretch, that is like the surgeon suggested, that actually bears a higher risk for rupturing the tendon or messing up the surgery and adding complications. Tensing the muscle and then slowly lowering it in a eccentric curl is a very, 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 very effective way to regain your range of motion very fast after surgery. So I encourage anyone that's going to go through this procedure, just do that exercise. Use the other hand to assist with the concentric, and then for the eccentric, just focus and lower it very, very slowly, and you'll very quickly get back your full range of motion. Now, after, I think it's about 3 or 4 weeks after I had the cast removed, the surgeon, yeah, about 3 or 4 weeks after the cast was removed, they took out all the stitches, and there were still big holes in my arm. There was pretty big gaps that still needed filling up. And then it's wait, let me get this right. Okay, 10 days after surgery, they removed the cast and they took the stitches out, and there were still pretty big holes in my arm. Now we are getting to about 1 month after surgery, and my coach has given me the ability, or the go ahead, to start loading with weights. So I'm using a 1 kilo weight and doing the same exercise. I'm doing assisting it up with the other hand, and then doing a slow eccentric. Assisting it up for the concentric, slow eccentric, but with a 1 kilo weight. Now, I'm also starting to do those shoulder exercises and all those mobility exercises my coach had me doing 5 days after surgery, but we're talking about 1 month after surgery now. And I'm starting it with a 1 kilo weight and I'm taking it easy. With all of this stuff, I'm busting high reps. We're doing minimum of 20 rep sets for basically all of my workouts now. And I am just focusing on high reps, low weight. The way to build a strong connective tissue is, yeah, you have to expose it to high weights at some point in the cycle. But a really good way to build strong connective tissue is just high reps. High reps with a low weight, high reps with a low weight. And that gets a lot of blood flow to the area, because tendons and ligaments and connective tissue doesn't have its own blood supply. So you need to bring nutrients into the area, and just high reps with a low weight is an amazing way to do that. So what I'm also doing is I'm doing workouts with my right bicep. It's not looking very. I need to get some better angles on there. It's not really looking very big. But anyway, I am doing. Yeah, I'll blame it on the camera angles. Basically, I'm doing some work with my right bicep, and yeah, you get a bit of carryover from right to left, from one side to the other. So by doing work with my right arm, it's stopping the left side from atrophying quite as much. And it's just keeping everything going. I was worried about getting an imbalance, but apparently if you don't do any work at all with your good side, your bad side's going to disappear even faster. And then the other thing that I'm using now as a gauge is pain. After I did that first workout wearing my cast 5 days after the surgery with my first coach, I was in quite a lot of pain rotating my wrist all the way down to my elbow, and it was just tight muscles all the way down. It wasn't good. After I got the go-ahead to start using some weight on this arm, a 1 kilo weight, I really, that day I went nuts, and I was just doing sets of 50 reps with all the exercise for the shoulder exercise and everything. I was like, yes, finally I can do some exercises with my left arm. And that was fine. But then I started doing things that are crazy, like holding 5 kilos, 10 kilos in my hand on the left side. And then at the end of the day, I was actually, getting freaky in the bedroom. And that's when I pushed it too far and I injured it a tiny bit. Now, the good thing is that it's very set in place by about a month after surgery. It's, especially with all the peptides and the growth hormone and everything I've been using pharmacologically, it's making its progress so fast. So that basically, and if you are interested in that, please watch my other video, peptides for tendon healing or something like that. And so yeah, I'm using pain as my guide. Now, since I kind of slightly injured it, I felt a few sharp pains when I'm loading the joint too much. And if I am loading the joint too much, I find that just wearing a sling for a few days, it really... Oh, sorry, my food's ready. Let's turn off this alarm here. So I find that if I do feel any pain from the bicep repair, that I just put it in a sling for a bit, let it rest up, and within like half a day, my arm's feeling fine. This has been a very, very, very painless injury. It's been a very painless surgery, really. They haven't experienced very much pain with it at all. And that's because I've rested it and I've taken my time before I start loading it. And now if I do feel any pain, it's a sign just to, hey, chill out, calm down, just slow down a bit. So that is my protocol. I could go into all of the drugs that I've been using. Like I've been using beta blockers to get me into a parasympathetic calm state to heal. I've been using growth hormone at 6 IUs a day. I've been using other growth hormone releasing peptides, BPC 157, TB 500, epitalon, GHK-Cu, and like I've been having lots of collagen protein, all this stuff. But like I said, that's enough content for another video in itself. So everybody, I hope you found this useful. And if you're going to get your biceps repaired, then yeah, I hope you get some advice from this video and it aids with your recovery. So Let's keep them biceps strong, people. Till next time, peace.